Welcome to This Week in West Hempstead, sponsored this week by Stern & Spiegel LLP, 5168-731-683. Let us solve your problems. And by Tiffany Dry Cleaners, environmentally safe, will pick up and deliver in West Hempstead and surrounding communities. 718-309-5222. Here are your hosts, David and Norm. Take it away, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Dan. And hey, Norm, how's it going?
It's going good.
Oh, wow. So
it's a Labor Day weekend.
I can't wait for Labor Day and go out there and attack those spotted flies and smush them on contact. So speaking of spotted flies, this morning I was over at the Town of Hempstead, I guess at the Pavilion on 1 Washington Street. And they had a big public hearing regarding the Capri. I mean, it was actually pretty well attended. I would say there were about 50 plus people from the community in attendance. All of the Town of Hempstead brass was there, including Don Clavin, and the whole board was filled up. I'll give you a couple of top line stuff, and then we can kind of talk about it. They being the Town of Hempstead has retained counsel, so this is now becoming a lot of lawyers saying a lot of words and getting paid to say a lot of words. There were some great speakers, including the commander from the 5th Precinct, and it's an important story.
So what did the commander have to say?
So, you know, the commander out of all the speakers was probably the most interesting because he went through the litany of issues and things that have happened at the Capri within the last 2 years. Hundreds of arrests, 10 deaths for whatever reason. Being called at an incredibly alarming rate. I mean, the list just kind of went on and on and on and on and on. And he said, listen, this is, you know, this place is a nuisance, and
we know what the place is. I mean, you know, it's I'm sure in a lot of cases for transitory people and people with drug issues and criminal issues and all kinds of other things. I don't think anybody can be surprised looking at it to understand that the cops are there every other day.
No, absolutely, and they did highlight the drug issues, and they did highlight the alleged prostitution and all those other things that, you know, that they have these records of. So, and then on the other hand, you had the lawyer who was representing the motel, who was kind of certainly wasn't in a good mood, and was definitely confrontational. And this was a public hearing, and he wanted to basically, you know, call the witnesses to the stand. But that's not the purpose of this. So the net result of all of this is that there's going to be yet another meeting. In this case, it'll be on September 6th at 10:30. I'm not sure if that's a public meeting or not a public meeting, if they're going to be calling witnesses, examining the evidence. I don't really know. They did have people from the community who spoke, including Maureen Greenberg from the Civic Association, and she expressed the concerns of citizens and people going to Stop and Shop, for example, and being accosted. So, you know, there was just a lot of activity there going on.
No, I think at the end of the day, the town has the right of eminent domain, right? They can go and take the property. They have to pay the owner ridiculous amount of money.
But that's the whole thing. I don't know if the words eminent domain were not mentioned once. Yeah. They talked about closing the motel down for a year. But again, under what grounds? And if the hotel was in fact paying their taxes, and if the motel, if in fact was, you know, addressed the violations that were originally you know, the fire and the alarms and not being, and they have them installed, what is the basis? You know, for that matter, pretty much in any hotel or motel, things happen, unfortunately.
Right.
So are we supposed to be closing down all the hotels and motels around the country?
I mean, look, based on what you were saying earlier, I mean, the lawyer really does seem to have a point here, which is, you know, if you're not serving us with violations, if you're literally just walking in and chaining the doors shut, whether we want the place open or not, he's got a point. The rule of law I would think would say, you can't just do this. You've got to have some legal basis for it. And right now, it doesn't seem like there's anything official there.
Right. So there's going to be this hearing. There is all this evidence from the police department that has been gathered. But at the end of the day, this all needs to be sorted out. So
I think they'll be in court for many, many years to come, unless they make this guy an offer he can't refuse. Otherwise,
who knows? It'll end up just being another vacant building on Hempstead Turnpike, with vagrants, and it'll be a bigger eyesore. It'll be off the tax record, so it'll be yet another bigger issue created from an existing issue.
And let's remember the last time this happened with whatever the Courtesy Motel, I think it was, is the one where the West 130 building is right now. Mm-hmm. At least there was a property exchange and somebody bought it and turned it into something useful. But we've already got another new development coming in at National Wholesale. How many developers are out there that are going to want to slap a building down there where it is?
I don't know, but you know what? Just based on the fact that the motel owners, I understand, were there. They definitely brought in some high-powered, Manhattan lawyers to defend them, and they're going to be digging in. So it'll
be a long fight.
Yeah. So
I'm going to call something out just because I happened to watch the computer and there are little alerts popping up. I don't know whose the number was. Hey, guess what? There was apparently another accident just now on Woodfield Road. Guess what? The traffic problems continue. Good times.
Yeah, I don't want to go into Woodfield because my head is going to. It's going to explode. It's traffic lights, timing of traffic lights, not stoplight. Won't even entertain speed bumps.
More studies.
Bunch of crap. It's really we get nowhere.
So we're going to let Dave calm down for just a minute, and we're going to go to a commercial from one of our sponsors right now.
Tiffany Dry Cleaner is ready to handle all your cleaning, laundering, and dry cleaning needs. We offer free pickup and delivery Sunday to Friday in all communities. Give us a shot.
And we're back.
You know what? Businesses open and close. And then actually right down the street from the Capri Motel is the Rite Aid in the Cherry Valley Shopping Center, and I hear it's closing.
Well, they filed for bankruptcy, so I believe they're going to be closing at least a lot of stores. Whether they'll close this one or not, or whether it'll be bought by someone else, we don't really know. It's early. They got major problems.
Yeah, I understand that Walgreens may have taken over already the prescription business side of things, and yet other shakeups, all happening in the medical industry. But again, it just so happens that on Hempstead Turnpike, it's really hard to have businesses, and we had that Boston Market, which also from a national level is a complete nonsensical show. I think they're also either in bankruptcy or they're closing stores left and right. So that Boston Market's being completely gutted. They're adding all sorts of different traffic patterns. So something big is coming there, and we got to go find out what that is.
All right. Well, it's back to school time.
And right next door, you got schools in that shopping area, and it is back to school. Buses are ready to go. I hear there's this controversy about speed cameras, about putting in cameras on the school buses in Nassau County. Suffolk County, no problem whatsoever. And in Nassau County, apparently Blakeman wants to go school district by school district. So there's yet again not a full deployment of measures that could slow traffic down.
Are those the cameras on the stop signs that if you violate those stop things?
Correct.
I'm sort of curious only because at least that I know of in West Hempstead, all those buses are private companies. So I presume you can't just, say, here, go do it without
you can because they operate under license from the county. So if the county says you have to have the stop signs on the buses, now you need to have cameras. it makes sense. I mean, these kids' lives at stake.
No, I got it.
And people are stupid about the driving. You know, they don't care about the safety issue. They're in a hurry. This is a big deal.
You know, it seems like in Nassau County, what's good everywhere else is not good in Nassau County. Whether it's speed bumps, whether it's these cameras, and then talking about Woodfield, we really got to get our acts together.
We got blood drive coming up.
Oh yeah, so thank God the Lakeview Fire Department is doing their annual blood drive, and their blood drive is going to be on September 10th. And you can check the site for more details on that.
Super important.
Echo Pool, certainly not open. Jake Shiner, who's running for legislator, he's trying to, give it his all to get some answers, and he actually got News 12 to cover the story. It's not going to help. Nothing's going to help the situation.
Remember, we were there first. We've been banging the drum about this since before the summer, and as I sort of predicted, guess what? The summer's out. That outdoor pool is not opening, and God knows about the indoor.
What's the story with the indoor pool?
Yeah, that's the bigger issue. I was actually...
we got a whole winter coming up.
And it's not only that. It's like, it's a facility. It's a facility that has a gym that was closed during COVID, that was never open. What would be the reason to close a gym today? You don't need water to run the gym. I mean, again, just using it as an example. It's a tiny little
gym. It has a nice new locker room, but still, I mean, what?
You have locker rooms, you have steam rooms, you have other facilities there. Again, there's no information from the town of Hempstead. It just continues to just kind of go round and round and round.
That's the part, is that, look, if it's closed, it's closed. Somebody step up and explain, and nobody wants to, or nobody can.
Yeah, so, meanwhile the story gets bigger, and News 12 will cover it, I guess Newsday will cover it again, and, we'll keep talking about it. But it's really the residents of West Hempstead and the residents of the town of Hempstead that are really getting screwed by not having this pool and not having any information about it, and the town of Hempstead continuing to have on their site to show that it's open. I mean, how silly can this whole thing be?
Well, the beaches were closed today, but hopefully they'll be open this weekend.
Yeah, we got Labor Day, and
we'll have concerts to go to, and a whole weekend to party.
Who's coming in?
So you know what? We got James Taylor, who's going to be at Jones Beach on September 3rd. And Norm, your favorite Aerosmith is coming in September 9th. And they're in their Peace Out farewell tour. I think Aerosmith is finally going to be saying goodbye. I wish I had a good pun, from an Aerosmith. I
just want to know if they're sponsored by Geritol and Depends or something like this.
I don't know, but you know what? You can walk this way any way you want to go.
With as many walkers or devices as you need.
Yeah, so that'll wrap it up for this week in West Hempstead. Stay tuned on our site for more information about the Capri Motel as we get into it. Have a great Labor Day, Norm, and a great Labor Day, Dan, and we'll pick it up next week.
Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you would like to sponsor our program, much like Stern & Spiegel and Tiffany Dry Cleaners, reach out to us at sales@westhempsteadecho.com.